I've started calling it the curse, the three generations curse, where a lot of well-meaning parents will tell their kids, about this proverb that has existed in every culture since like the dawn of time.
Welcome back to another episode of the Family Wealth Edge. Kristen, my dear co-host, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Vincent?
Good. So for today, we're going to talk about your company, your new company, but an older name, and there's a lot of history to this name that I want to know more about. I want to give you the opportunity to share about it. So your company's name is called In Three Generations. You also wrote a book
Yeah,
with that same
name is the
title.
book. The book
Yeah,
is a subtitle, but yes.
a few years ago. Fire away. Tell us how you came on the name. Talk a little bit about the book too, and why that branding and messaging is important to you.
Yeah, thank you. Happy to. So, the name of the company, In Three Generations, my hope is always that it will prompt people, and I guess the book too, prompt people to really think about what their legacy will be in three generations from now. And we're sort of, I don't know, always countering this. I've started calling it the curse, the three generations curse, where a lot of well-meaning parents will tell their kids, about this proverb that has existed in every culture since like the dawn of time, shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in three generations, or it's clogs to clogs in three generations, or whatever it is. And it's well-meaning, hoping a parent is hoping that there will be like this inspiration struck by that like I have this duty and it will give them a cause. And I'm actually a big fan of that. And unfortunately, the way that that's delivered is often not necessarily inspiring anything positive. A lot of, in fact, I even had a rising gen client who basically said it almost seems like it's a foregone conclusion. So in a
The
way,
curse.
yeah, it's a curse. How can I get out from under that? And so I think my hope is just to inspire people that really with intention, you're building your legacy. Like your legacy
Mm.
doesn't happen by accident. You're not like, oh gee, I hope that on my funeral people will say something nice, that I've made an impact.
Yeah,
That's not going to happen accidentally. Like you have to build
yeah,
intention to make an impact in people's lives, or to show up with responsibility to your family stewardship, or to, if you want your grandkids to be inspired by you, you have to make a plan to do that. Like this is
yes,
about building strategy to make that likelihood uh, a potential in your future. And so through my book and really through my business, I hope to
yeah,
inspire people to say like, in three generations, I think that I have a clue what people are going to be
yeah,
saying about the legacy of my life based on what I've been investing in them.
yeah. I love the name and I love your book. I love the title of it. I think it's interesting because I did a meeting this weekend as well too. And the dad said something really powerful. He said that the plans we're making today are not even for my kids, they're for my great grandkids. And I thought that was really interesting. And I think if you look at a generation, so three generations, 75 years, give or
Yeah.
take, right? So I think um, it's really where we are in our lives in our mid 40s. Sorry, folks. We're able to have impact on three generations, not only the one before us, but hope our kids, and then obviously our generation before us passes, usually before the great grandkids come, and then you actually can see the impact of the work that you're making versus our kids. We won't be here to see that. So I just love that. I love that focus on in three generations, where do we want to be? And there's also the counter to this too, because in the marketplace of the industry that we work in, there's been some pushback on that three generational curse, right? Any thoughts on that? Has that come across to you with the name or in some of the work that you are doing?
Yeah, and I enjoy, I guess, educating folks now who, really believe that there is not only kind of like this ancient wisdom that's been passed across cultures, but also believe that there's a lot of data to support the notion that wealth dissipates across three generations. And
Mm,
that's just not necessarily the case, that there's a lot
yeah.
of robust research to indicate that. So I enjoy educating people that their assumptions might not actually be true. And then even
Yeah.
more than that, that they get to build in their family intentionally an approach to building whatever legacy they want in
Yeah.
three generations.
I think that's the big word is the intentionality.
Mm.
You remember years ago, you and I did an exercise for a family. a big family where we put those things on the board. We said in 10 years, there'll
Oh
be,
yeah.
we said something simple like, I don't know, something about we'll still be driving electric
Oh yeah.
vehicles,
Hmm.
and then we'll still be celebrating our family's history. And then
Yes.
in 50 years, we said something really provocative, like there'll be flying cars, and we'll still be celebrating, grandpa and grandma's
Yes.
legacy. And you
Totally.
remember the whole family, except one or two, agreed with that statement that in 50 years we'll be celebrating um, their story, even though they would have been long past.
Yes.
When we asked the people that didn't agree with it, they said it's a big feat. Like the idea of still celebrating that story in 50 years when a lot of the players who are carrying that messaging today won't be here
Hmm.
was not, it was interesting how the two of them almost went to the dark side
Yeah.
of the in 3 generational idea.
Because they weren't sure that the family had the intention to
Yes.
keep them from that, I don't know, like dissipation route. And I love that you brought that up because I actually feel like so the name of that is I call it absolutely no way maybe, or absolutely maybe no way.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of just like sharing the ideas that we're finding success with so that other people can use them. So
Yeah.
just want to like kind of break down how people can set this up for their own family meeting. So on one wall we put absolute the word absolutely, on another wall maybe, and on another wall no way. And so then, as Vincent was sharing, you throw out these different scenarios. We like some of them to be silly. Like, remember the one
Yeah.
is like a robot will be like making all of our food, or like a
Yeah.
friendly robot. We call it a friendly robot.
It's coming. It's coming to be.
It's a
It's
friendly robot, and not like eat your nutrients or whatever. Like you don't get cake. Um, but then other more serious ones, like we'll still be talking about grandpa's legacy, or grandma's impact in philanthropy in 100 years. Or I think a good one too was we'll have more than a dozen family members working inside of the business, and people
yeah.
start to go like, oh, if we want certain things to happen, we really have to start planning for them
Yeah.
now to have the seeds of that growing in 100 years. And typically we'll do it like like 3 or 4 statements in 10 years from now, and 3 or 4 statements in 25 years from now, and 50, and kind of like depending on what you all are planning for in the meeting. But that's one of my very favorite family meeting
Yeah.
exercises to do around vision. And we,
Yeah.
we had a great outcome with that family. It was fun to do it with.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, I mean, this conversation stemmed from talking about the naming and branding of your company and book in 3 generations, and then it just prompted those memories
Yeah.
and ideas that we've shared with families. So that's really interesting, Kristen, how that activity, even though simple, right? Like 3 simple words, some simple ideas, some provocative statements, really does, at least for us, I think, really does summarize or focus on the intentionality that families could have or should have in trying to achieve some of their multi-generational ideas and legacy hopes.
Yeah. I think that all of this isn't going to happen by accident, right? It
Yeah.
it really is in our control, in the way that we can, I don't know, increase the likelihood that we leave a beneficial legacy with our resources, with the time that we're spending
Mm.
across all capital areas, is by being intentional. And especially when it comes to relationships, these things don't happen by accident. So, what will the legacy of your life be in 3 generations? I suppose that's up to us.
Yeah. Thank you. See you soon, friend.